Hi everyone, I'm Doug Black, Editor-in-Chief at Inside HPC, and we're at ISC 2022 in Hamburg, Germany. I'm with folks from AMD. With me are Kumaran Siva. He's Corporate Vice President, Business Development in the Server Business Unit. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Brad McRedie, also a Corporate Vice President, Data Center, GPU, and Accelerated Processing.
Nice to see you, Doug.
Good to see you guys.
See you.
So, hoping you guys could kind of catch us up on some of the products you'll be highlighting this week at the conference.
All right, when did I start? So we are super excited. This is the first show where we've had a recently announced Milan X product being showcased in a number of the OEMs and also in the cloud. This is our first 3D stacked CPU. In fact, it's the industry's first 3D stacked CPU server product. And it provides up to 768 megabytes of L3 cache. And what is really interesting, we knew this was going to be a great product when we put it together for HPC applications. But what's actually turned out amazing in this is that the ability, we've seen this great ability of applications to take advantage of the scaling that's provided with the L3 cache. And we're actually seeing in some cases, in some applications, scaling that's beyond what you'd expect from the linear adding up of the of cores and of caches, that we actually get the super linear effect because there's so much sharing that goes on between the caches that the applications can take advantage of. And so it's a pretty interesting combination. Also with that, the demands on memory bandwidth and the power consumption actually, you know, in some of these applications are actually coming down, and it's pretty interesting. It's a new world for us, and it's a really exciting product. It's exciting to see what folks are able to do with it. We're also seeing AI applications being deployed on this as well.
Hey, a little bit about on the GPU side. You know, we're mostly talking about our MI200 series of products. We have the MI210, which we announced earlier this year. That's our PCI card for our more value-minded clients that takes all of the supercomputing power and puts it down into a PCIe slot. And then, of course, we have the belle of the ball, the MI250X, which we'll talk about, which was recently announced in the world's most powerful supercomputer. And, of course, we have our software stack, ROCm 5, we announced earlier this year. Very big revamp of ROCm. We got 86 new features and functions in there, as well as new debugging capability and you know, lots of ease of use, new install processes and things like that to really make the supercomputing power accessible to everybody.
Okay, now obviously there was really big news this morning about the top 500 and the first exascale system. So
yeah,
please.
Well, I thought you'd never ask. Thanks for asking, Doug. Let me tell you about the world's most powerful supercomputer, Frontier, which is made up of one of Kumaran's products, Trento. It's a Milan processor, 64 cores. We put some special capability on there for that Milan to talk coherently with the MI250X. That's our new MCM MI200 product, MI250X, that powers the supercomputer. And then we, of course, have our Infinity Fabric, which is what hooks it all up together. And it's just great. You know, that MI250 with Trento took the #1 and the #3 spot on the top 500 list, broke an exaflop for the first time in the history of computing, as well as the top 4 spots on the GREEN500 list, 1, 2, 3, 4 sweep, broke 50 exaflops per watt, which was a barrier that we thought was going to be very difficult to break, but that's what was needed to get into petaflop. We actually got all the way to 62 gigaflops per watt, so that was just great. And then, of course, we got the #1 processor on the HPLAI list, which is at 6.86 exaflops, which is just tremendous. That was over 3 times the previous #1 system. So just a great showing there for our AMD products. We now have about 30% of the flops on the top 500 list are AMD products. That's really nice. And as well as 92% of the new products introduced in the top 500 this year was AMD. So really, really great showing, and we're just really excited and happy to be able to share that with you.
Yeah, a lot of congratulations around the AMD booth.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's good.
Update us also on how AMD is doing with some of the big cloud services providers.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So on the cloud services side, we've actually seen an explosion of interest in, first of all, HPC in the cloud, but also on AMD in the cloud providers providing those HPC services. So really notably, Azure has announced their HPV3, which uses that Milan X technology that I talked about and has that actually deployed, makes it extremely accessible to people to go try out their workloads, to see the effect of having that extremely large cache. So that's been a very, very attractive feature, and also frankly, helped accelerate some of the use cases I talked about earlier that demonstrate super linear scaling. Like for example, the ANSYS Fluent package has been deployed on the Azure HPV3 and is demonstrating that kind of capability. But we have others too. We have folks that are doing AI applications like Neural Magic. We have a number of different really, really interesting use cases. But in addition to Azure, we also saw from AWS the first instance in the AWS product line of instances dedicated to HPC based off of AMD. That's the HPC6A. And that is based off of our Milan processor and provides both tremendous performance, but also great value to the customers. And then finally, we have Google, which have their C2D instance type. That is an instance type that is optimized for compute, but has done a tremendous job in being able to provide value, performance per dollar, and the total capability of that instance has proven pretty substantial, and we've seen a lot of really good results with a number of the end customers and ISVs utilizing that instance types.
You forgot
Yes.
our new MI200.
Yes, of course. I think it was the first MI200 in the cloud service. So it pairs perfectly with our Milan X and our MI200. So this is a fantastic combination within the Azure cloud offering.
Well, great to be with both of you. Brad McRedie, Kumaran, Siva, and congratulations again.
Thanks,
Have a great
Doug.
rest of your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.